some new years. Cool. Oh, I could have done that. Good morning. Happy New Year and welcome. Whether the Unitarian Church of Evanston is your spiritual home or you are seeking comfort and connection in uncertain times, we are grateful you are here with us in body or spirit. We are an inclusive and welcoming community seeking truth and love and striving to nurture the human spirit for a world made whole. We are guided by our principles and values, which remind us in every moment and through every challenge that each of us matters and that we are all connected through the vast and beautiful web of existence. Together, let us remember our oneness, our kinship with one another, and may we hold one another in heart and mind with tenderness and careful attention. There are many links of connection in the Show More section of the YouTube live stream, including credits for the readings, ways to serve our mission, and a link to be added to our email newsletter list. A few announcements. Today is our fire communion service. Please take a moment to get a piece of paper and pencil for each person. You will be invited to light some candles during the fire communion. So if you would like to do that, please get 1 to 4 candles and matches. After the service today, we will have our kinship time, a time for conversation with each other after the service via Zoom. The Zoom link is in the YouTube description and in the UCE newsletter. If you had trouble with the link posted in the chat last week, please know that it has been corrected for today. Also, right after the service today, on a different Zoom link, we're having our second to last ends statement conversation with Reverend Eileen and the board. The Zoom link is in the YouTube description and in the newsletter. The last scheduled ends conversation is this Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Next Sunday, we will have a shortened virtual kinship time following the service, and then we will have our storyteller workshop via the same Zoom link. That afternoon, we'll host Candace Mitchell, Evanston's long-term care ombudsman, for a virtual presentation on selecting and evaluating long-term care options. For our lifelong learning series on Tuesday nights, we are starting off the new year with 2 key speakers on healthcare in the time of COVID. This Tuesday, January 4th, we are very lucky to have Dr. Howard Jarvis, Chief of Emergency Medicine in Springfield, Missouri, who has been interviewed on CNN about the impact of COVID on his hospital staff. The following Tuesday, January 11th, we are fortunate to have Dr. Andy Chatburn, Head of Medical Ethics for a group of 7 hospitals in Washington State. Everyone is invited to join us on Zoom, see Realm or the newsletter for more information. Now please get your chalices ready as we gather in covenantal community for worship.
The Unitarian Church of Evanston resides on the traditional homelands of the Council of Three Fires, the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations. This land was recorded as being transferred from the local Potawatomi community to the U.S. government in 1829 and then was sold to white settlers. After decades of violent encroachment by the British, French, and then U.S. American settlers, the Potawatomi community had no choice but to sell before they were forcefully removed west of the Mississippi River. The Chicago-owned area is now home to one of the largest and most diverse urban Native communities in the United States. Our faith calls us to name these realities with honor and respect as one small effort toward finding greater accountability, deeper relationship, and mutuality with contemporary Indigenous communities, for the land we use as sacred space, for the animals and plants that have been sustained by this land, and for our ancestors and descendants who are and will become part of the earth. As Kathy Underwood lights the chalice, please join in saying these words printed on your screen by Brian Kelly. In times of darkness, we stumble toward the tiny flame. In times of cold, we seek the warming fire. In times of repression, we reach for the lamp of truth. In times of loss, we pray for the comforting light. In times of joy, we light a candle of celebration. Spirit of life, as we kindle this light, help us find what we need this day. Please join in saying the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please join in singing hymn number 31, which is unnamed.
Speaking the truth that refreshes and frees. Name unnamed, hidden and shown, knowing and known, Gloria.
Midwife of changes, skillfully guiding, drawing us up through the shock of the new. Woman of wisdom, perceiving, never deceiving, freeing and leading in all that we do. Name unnamed, hidden and shown, knowing and known, Gloria.
Daredevil gambler, risking and loving, giving us freedom to shatter your dreams. life-giving loser, wounded and weeping, dancing and leaping, sharing the caring that heals and redeems.
Name unnamed, hidden and shown, knowing and known, Gloria.
Our story this morning is an adaptation of Jerome Berryman's Festivals of Light. This is the season, from late November through early January, of many festivals of light. Each festival has its own special symbol of light. The light is typically found as the flame on the end of a candle. And the candles come in many shapes, sizes, and colors, and are arranged differently depending on the festival. Some light is used for religious traditions. Hanukkah is the Jewish festival of lights. The menorah holds the 9 candles that we light during the 8-day Hanukkah celebration to remember the rededication of the temple in Jerusalem. In some traditions, the symbols of light are determined by the individual. Yule is the neo-pagan community's holiday when we celebrate the winter solstice, which is the longest night of the year. The color of the solstice candle varies, as do the number of candles used in the celebration. In some traditions, the candles will be in specific colors. Advent is the Christian holiday that lasts for the 4 weeks leading up to the celebration of Christmas, when we celebrate the birth of Jesus. Did you know the candles on the Advent wreath are different colors in different places? Protestant communities in the United States typically have 3 purple candles and a pink candle. In some traditions, the candles will each represent a specific meaning. Kwanzaa is a week-long celebration in many African American communities. The Kinara holds the 7 candles we light each night of the 7-day festival. Each candle represents a value or custom that came to the United States from Africa. There are 3 red candles, 1 black candle, and 3 green candles. In all traditions, the light symbolizes something important, something to remember and to honor and cherish. We also use light in the form of candles and fireworks to celebrate many occasions, such as birthdays and Independence Day. For each celebration, the light is unique and special. In Unitarian Universalism, many of us celebrate Chalaka, a celebration of our principles. Each day, a chalice is lit, and the day is spent reflecting on the meaning of that day's principle and doing a good deed to honor that principle. Since our congregation adopted the 8th principle, we celebrated Chalaka for 8 days this year. If you look at the photo of our sanctuary, you will see the 8 lit chalices at the front of our altar. The candles and chalices used in celebrating Chalaka are as diverse as the Unitarian Universalists doing the celebrating. In our Unitarian Universalist faith, we also have a symbol of light that we enjoy all year long. It is, of course, our flaming chalice. We light chalices in our classrooms and in our sanctuaries. We light chalices before some of our meetings. At General Assembly, our annual gathering of Unitarian Universalists, the chalice we light is called the Tree of Life. It was created by Mordecai Roth. He is pictured on the left, lighting the Tree of Life chalice at General Assembly. Some of you may recognize the shape, as UCE now has its own Tree of Life chalice that we light each Sunday. The photo on the right is from our pageant Sunday just 2 weeks ago. We put a candle in our chalices because the flame is mysterious and beautiful and reminds us of the spirit of love and mystery that some people call God. The light is also a symbol of the spirit of love and mystery inside each of us. Each of you has a light that you can tend to, that you can nurture. Once that fire is lit, you can share it with others. Or when you blow out a candle, you can see the smoke from the flame as it spreads out. Just as we see the movement of the smoke, so do others see our movement or our behavior in the world. The spirit of the light inside us can be the same. It can be shared with others with purpose, like when we light a candle from another candle. Or the spirit of the light can spread out to others, like how the smoke spreads out into the world. The flame in our chalices is also symbolic of our community's values: the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. May the flame be in our hearts and minds as we live into our values in our daily lives. Please join in singing from home, "This Little Light of Mine." This little light of mine,
I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine,
I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine,
I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go,
I'm gonna let it shine.
Everywhere I go,
I'm gonna let it shine.
Everywhere I go,
I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
That makes me happy every time I see it. Each week we join together to share our joys and sorrows. If you have something you would like to share, you may submit it through the Google form found on the homepage of our website, or alternatively, you may email myself or Reverend Eileen Wiviat. This sacred space for our tender offerings is part of the practice of beloved community. Together, we expand our celebrations and lessen the burden of our grief. If you would like to light a candle at home, we will be lighting candles here in honor of the joys and sorrows shared and those left unspoken. These are the joys and sorrows that have been shared with us ahead of time. Karen Wiley shares, "It's been a rough week. My mom died on Thursday, December 30th, at 96 years old after a long time receiving care from us, her children, at home. My husband and I have both tested positive for COVID in the past few days. We are looking forward to a good new year." Andy Fisher shares, "Last week he had a great birthday party with his longtime sailing friend Bill to celebrate Bill's 70th birthday. However, Bill was taken to the hospital on Friday, and one of the major arteries in his heart was totally plugged up. They were able to put in a mental stent, which opened up his heart They put in a mental stent which opened it up, and he is home now. We are so fortunate he was within easy reach of a hospital to have that done, and he is still alive and with us today. Please keep Brennan and Brianna in your thoughts and prayers as they struggle with difficult family situations. Brennan with the loss of connection with his mom and sister, and Brianna because her grandmother is declining in health. All of this is harder during the holidays. They ask for your prayers of strength. And from Kathy Underwood, I appreciate the cards and notes many of you have sent me over the past few weeks since my mother's death. It is such a blessing to be part of this caring community. We hold these as well as the joys and sorrows that are unspoken in our hearts. Together, we expand our celebrations and lessen the burden of our grief. I invite you into a spirit of prayer and meditation as I share with you Reverend Tamara Lebeck's Prayer of Purpose and Inner Fire. Holy One, who dwells within and among us, let us remember the blessings of purpose that we have received throughout our lives. When the fire of our soul burned brightly, those moments of clarity when our direction felt in line with a greater purpose, when the doors of opportunity were easy to see and even easier to open. Those moments of clarity when even strangers felt like family. We ask this day to have that clarity of spirit come forth into our lives again with the power of a mighty wind, opening the horizons of our hearts and minds to that inner fire which burns inside us all. O Holy One, may we be inspired this day to sing out praise of this glorious life in a language beyond the bower of speech, in a language of action, so that our lives might be a beacon of justice and love, and the world might know hope through our story, our song, our steps taken. We ask this day that our inner fire burn brightly with compassion and courage and love for whatever number of days ahead are still ours to claim. These and the many prayers of our hearts we pray now in a moment of silence. Amen, and blessed be.
Keep your heart wide open, though the waves wanna push you around. You gotta keep your heart wide open till your faith brings you back to solid ground. I'm gonna keep my heart. I'm gonna keep wide open. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open. Though these waves wanna pull, though they want me around, though the waves waves wanna push me around. I'm gonna keep my heart. I'm gonna keep wide open. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open till my faith brings me back to solid ground. Until my faith brings me back to solid ground. We gotta keep our heart. We gotta keep wide open. We gotta keep our hearts wide open. Although these waves wanna push us around. Although these waves wanna push us around. We gotta keep our heart. We gotta keep wide open till our faith brings us back to solid ground. Till our faith brings us back to solid ground. Say hi.
Hi.
We start our fire communion today with a poem by an unknown author.
The old year is worn and tired. Time now to kiss it goodbye. Take with you its wisdom, the authority and the power of all you have learned. Remember the past year with love, but let go of its despair.
Live the year that lies ahead with fresh energy and hope. Be strong, have courage. It is time for something new.
It is the first Sunday of the year, a time when we reflect on the past year and look forward to the new year. As we move into our fire communion, I invite you to have a piece of paper of any size and something to write with, and to have 1 to 4 candles, any size, and matches. The new year calls us forward, filled with mystery. As we turn towards the new year, we appreciate the cycle of life, taking a final glimpse of the past year and reckoning with all that it held for us, as well as looking to the future and what inspires and calls us. This morning, we will ground ourselves in relationship with the earth and with each other. We will let go of what we need to and start to manifest what we need in the new year. As we move through this ritual, when you have in mind something that you would like to let go of, something that you need to release from your mind or your body or your heart or your spirit, I invite you to write it on one side of your piece of paper. And then, on the other side of your piece of paper, when you have something in mind that you would like to manifest in your life, something you would like to set your awareness and intention toward, please write that thing down on that other side of the paper. I invite you to bring your candle or candles forward. We will be lighting 4 candles during our fire communion, 1 for what we are looking forward to, 1 for what we need to let go of, 1 for inspiring our creativity, and 1 for setting our awareness or intention towards something. When one of these readings resonates with you, I invite you to light your candle. If you have more than 1 candle, I invite you to light each candle as we go along. And at any time, writing on your piece of paper what you want to let go of and leave behind on one side, and what you want this next year to be full of on the other side. Take a deep breath in. Exhaling slowly. We ground ourselves in the spirit of awe and mystery. We ground ourselves in the connections and relationships we have here and beyond this community. We ground ourselves in love.
Connecting with the east, with the element of air, with the life-giving power of breath, we reflect on the gift of new beginnings. Barbara Kingsolver writes, "The very least you can do in your life is to figure out what you hope for, and the most you can do is live inside that hope, not admire it from a distance, but live right in it, under its roof." As this candle is lit, reflect on what new beginning you are looking forward to this year. Connecting with the south, with the element of fire, with the fierce power that brings heat and security as well as destruction, we reflect on the power of forgiveness and letting go. Lois Van Leer writes, "Roar through my soul, flame and fire and searing heat. Burn all my fears to ash. Now send your sparks up on the breath of the wind, up to the sun, moon, and stars. Snaking paths, roads for my spirit to follow. Sweet, sweet release." As this candle is lit, reflect on what you would like to let go of in your life in order to move forward this coming year.
Connecting with the West, with the element of water, with the life-giving power of hydration, we reflect on the mystical presence of creativity. Rumi writes, "Be a full bucket pulled up the dark way of a well, then lifted out into the light. Stars burn clear all night. Do that yourself, and a spring will rise in the dark with water your deepest thirst is for." As this candle is lit, reflect on what you need in your life this year to express your creativity. Connecting with the north, with the element of earth, with the grounding force upon which we build our homes and from which we grow our food, we reflect on the power of intention and awareness. Reverend Gretchen Haley writes in the poem, "Let Astonishment Be Possible." Whatever you have come in anticipating, whatever you expect or worry for our world, for the future, for our lives, let it go. Make space in your heart to be surprised. Make room in your soul for a new story to take shape. Let astonishment be possible at this life that remains a miracle. Imagine here the bursting of joy, relentless and resilient, coming in waves, washing over us with music and story silence, and still this dreaming together, being hope for each other and courage to believe in this new day dawning for us all. As this candle is lit, reflect on what you will give your awareness or intention to in this new year.
If you haven't already, write a word or two on your paper. On one side, it is what you want to let go of. Last year was another year full of hardship and challenges. So I invite you to write as many things as you need in order to let this past year slip away into history, knowing that there have been little blessings along the way, lessons of compassion and survival that will stay with us, holding these gifts and letting go of the rest. On the other side of your paper, write what you are wanting in the new year. Creativity, patience, a new job, a booster shot, or a hug from more loved ones, or to worship together in person more often. Visualizing what will bring you stability, comfort, and joy. I invite you all to take another breath in, slowly exhaling. As we take a moment to reflect and write, we will listen to hymn number 387, The Earth, Water, Fire, and Air. Please feel free to sing along.
The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Aye, 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 aye. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Aye, 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 aye. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Aye, 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 aye. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Aye, 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 aye.
May we have the strength to let go of what we need in order to move forward in our lives.
May we have all that we need to express our creativity.
May we find hope, comfort for our sorrows, and pieces of joy in the year ahead.
May we live into our intention to share our love and compassion for each other.
You are invited to take your piece of paper and place it somewhere that you will come across it at some point in the next year. When you find it again, take a moment to reflect on how your year is going. Take that moment to renew your need for letting go or to recall what you set your intention toward. Maybe take that moment to embrace yourself with some unconditional love and to remind yourself of the love and support from this community. Life is full of mixed blessings. For the joy and growth this past year held for you, may that sweetness continue to bless you into the new year. For the pain and bitterness this past year held for you, may you be relieved of those burdens and renewed for the journey ahead. Let us look to the new year with hope, with curiosity about its many unknowns, with creativity in the face of uncertainty, and with faith in our strength to navigate it with grace. We end our fire communion with the poem Out of the Flames by Sarah Eileen Lawal.
Out of the flames of fire, fear, we rise with courage of our deepest convictions to stand for justice, inclusion, and peace.
Out of the flames of scrutiny, we rise to proclaim our faith with hope to heal a fractured and hurting world.
Out of the flames of doubt, we rise to embrace the mystery, wonder, and awe of all there is and all that is yet to be.
Out of the flames of hate, we rise with the force of love, love that celebrates our shared humanity.
Out of the flames we rise. Blessed be.
As we say in our covenant each Sunday, service is our law. UCE is called by our mission, values, and principles to contribute to our community, to form accountable partnerships, and to express gratitude through giving. Today's offering will be shared with the Community Renewal Society. Dennis Wilson will introduce our shared offering recipient for this month.
Good morning, I'm Dennis Wilson, co-leader of UCE's Legislative Action Team. This month, UCE is sharing our loose offering with the Community Renewal Society, a coalition of over 70 member churches in the Chicago area who have been working together for social justice for over 130 years. During the past 13 years, UCE has been a member congregation of CRS and has worked with them to develop strong relationships with CRS staff, with Illinois state legislators, and with social justice leaders in other congregations. During this time, probably about half of the members of UCE have participated in one or more of CRS activities, such as trainings, demonstrations, celebrations, or lobbying efforts. Our work with CRS last year led the state of Illinois to pass no money bail, so that people don't have to stay in jail simply because they can't afford a money bond. This year, we're working to try to get former prisoners better access to jobs and housing after they are out of prison. CRS this year is hosting the MLK annual celebration on Zoom. This year's featured speaker will be Reverend Otis Moss of Trinity United Church of Christ, who is well known for his exciting and inspirational messages. To attend, go to the CRS webpage and register for the event. You can register for the live event on January 17th from 10 a.m. to noon, or a replay from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Now, be as generous as you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. You may text to give, send in a check, or give from our website. If you send in a check, please indicate in the memo line if your check is for the shared offering, pledge, capital campaign, or some other giving. Please give as generously as you are able, and may what you give bring you joy.
Our reading today from Edward Searle is untitled. Always there is a beginning.
A new day, a new month, a new season, a new year.
Forever the old passes away.
And newness emerges from the richness that was.
Nothing is ever lost.
In the many changes time brings.
What was in some way will be.
Though changed in form.
Always there is a beginning.
A new day, a new month, a new season, a new year.
Gregory, you're making my heart soar today, and I really appreciate you. The poet W.S. Merwin wrote in the poem, "To the New Year." So this is the sound of you here and now, whether or not anyone hears it. And this is where we have come with our age, our knowledge such as it is, and our hopes such as they are, invisible before us, untouched and still possible. I love the start of this poem. Quote, "So this is the sound of you here and now, whether or not anyone hears it." End quote. Not only does this sentiment remind me of the philosophical thought experiment, if a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Because both raise questions regarding observation and perception. But the line also reaffirms for me that I am who I am in this moment, regardless of anything else that is going on around me. That while I cannot control the actions of other people or their social media posts, while I cannot control the living virus as it mutates, I can control what I focus on and how I respond. And in order to have what I need, whether that is more energy or more patience, to determine what I will focus on and how I will respond, I know that I have to take care of my whole being. Each of us has different needs. We each have a unique family, a unique personality, a unique sleep schedule and sunlight quotient. Some of us have complex school or work schedules. Some of us have complex caretaker responsibilities or new parent responsibilities. Some of us are deep in grief or loneliness, or handling anxiety about medical concerns, or being in person with the current COVID variant. I invite you to think about what would be good for you right now and in the coming days to take care of your whole self. When I think about caring for my whole self, I find it easier to think about 4 areas that make up my being: my mind, my body, my heart, and my spirit. And then I think about what might be good for each aspect of my being, knowing that there is always overlap. And I think of these examples. For my mind, I have fun with puzzles. I like Sudoku and old-fashioned table puzzles. For my body, I try to continue to walk outside by the lake whenever possible. For my heart, I regularly connect with friends and family. And for my spirit, I remain committed to my prayer life. Look at or think about what you wrote on your piece of paper from our fire communion ritual. For some of us, we have written down something that is immediate or directly related to our self-care. Notice that. Live into that. For some of us, what we wrote is long-term or aspirational. Notice that. Live into that. Wherever you are on the continuum of caring for your whole self, listen to what you need and strive to live into it. I also love the ending of this poem, that we are here with, quote, our hopes such as they are, invisible before us, untouched and still possible, end quote. In engaging in our fire communion ritual today, we search for and recognize these hopes, and we do it within the context of our community. We strive to be here for each other, whether we are connecting in person or virtually. We encourage each other to reach out for help if we need it, knowing that we almost always have the love and compassion and enough resources to support each other. We inspire each other to keep living out our values within and among and beyond our congregation. And so we enter the new year together to support each other through our challenges and to celebrate our joys together in the days and months ahead. Happy New Year, everyone. Please join me in singing our hymn, Turn the World Around.
We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around.
We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around.
We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around.
Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am?
See we
Do
one
I
another
know
clearly. Do we know who we
you
are?
are? See we one another clearly.
See we one
We
another
know
clearly. Do we know
who we are? Whoa, so is life a party. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life a party. Whoa, so is life.
Water make the river, river river wash the mountain, fire make the sunlight turn the world around.
Heart is of the river, body is the mountain, spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around.
We are of the Spirit, truly of the Spirit, only can the Spirit turn the world around.
Oh, so is life a mighty walk. So is life. Oh, so is life a mighty walk. So is life. Oh, so is life a mighty walk. So is life. Oh, so is life a mighty walk. So is life. Whoa, so is life a mighty walk. So is life. Whoa, so is life a mighty walk. So is life.
Hooray! As Kathy extinguishes the flames from our fire communion ritual and of our Tree of Life chalice, please join in saying the words on your screen by the Reverend Elizabeth Sell Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
May you feel the love and compassion of your friends, family, and community who will support you as you let go of what you need to. May you experience the patience, strength, and courage needed to care for your mind, body, heart, and spirit. May you manifest what you need to bring awareness and intention into your life, ready for the challenges and celebrations of the new year. Blessed be.